BearPanda has taken corner cuttings to an extreme, like way too much. It shouldn't be this bad. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven. Today with a scale figure review, 1x4 by the way. Personally, I don't really collect 1x4 scale. I used to have one Momobilia developed from To Love Ru by Freeing, the bunny version with stockings. That was several years ago, but I sold that figure to fund my FGO addiction. And the only one other 1x4 scale review I have published on this channel is a third-party resin figure which a follower of this channel lent to me. It wasn't my figure. So this is the only 1x4 scale I have at the moment, and the only reason why I picked one up is because I am very curious given how irresistible the price of this figure is. What you are looking at is BearPanda's 1x4 scale Konata, that is her name by the way, at 1x4 scale. Original character from Mishirano Joshi Kousei ni Kankin Sareta Mangaka no Hanashi. Yeah, I see Joshi Kousei there, I see JK there, I'm happy, I love JKs by the way. So this one was released in China back in early April actually, but there were some delays before I was able to get my hands on one because I did not pre-order this one. And for international markets, she is being released this month in May. So if you pre-ordered one from Japanese websites, you're getting yours soon. Her official retail price tag in Japan and in international markets is 9,000 Japanese yen only. 9,000 yen for 1x4 scale. Over in China, officially, she is 399 Chinese yuan. I got her for like 450. Yeah, they increased the price ever so slightly because the demand on this thing is so high, but it was just 50 yuan. I don't care at all for something this huge. So I picked one up from Bilibili store, right? Okay, so speaking of BearPanda, this is a new figure company, definitely from China, and I don't know if they have any ties with other existing low-budget scale figure companies like Animaster. I do suspect there is some sort of relation, no, like it is a branch of, not like I have any evidence, but I do suspect that is the case given that there are some similarities to the way they paint this figure over here compared to the two Animaster figures I have reviewed recently. Yeah, like the style, the way they painted her hair over here is very similar, so I suspect they're kind of related in a way. At 1x4 scale and only 9,000 yen, she stands at 45 centimeters tall all the way to the top over here. So this is a really tall figure, and she comes with a bunch of extra stuff despite the low price tag. Namely, there is one extra faceplate over here which we'll discuss later on. Speaking of the unboxing process, the first impression I got when I received the parcel was that, wow, this is a lot heavier than I was expecting. Yeah, but for the unboxing process, I think it was a very pleasant surprise in the sense that for a cheap figure like this, the box design, although a bit flimsy, felt rather luxurious. Like there is this one cover outside and then you slide the box out, and then underneath that actual box, there is an artwork of this character, and the print on that artwork looks amazing. The print is really high quality. So, I mean, the box design alone made me feel, wow, is this even 9,000 yen figure? Yeah, the design of the box felt luxurious, so I'm very happy with the box. Not to mention, there is a certain extent of solid feel to it. So I don't think the box is something that can be damaged easily. Yeah, so I received the figure in mostly good condition, perfect condition even. Assembly process of the figure was fairly straightforward. The figure was already attached to the base, and initially I thought, oh, is this figure permanently glued to the base? I don't like that. And apparently it is not. The base is removable from the figure, but the base gave me one of the worst feelings ever I've seen in a scale figure in a long time, but we will go into more detail in the base section later. As for everything else, yeah, just take the figure out from the box, and if you want to swap the faceplate, you swap. That is it. There is nothing much to assemble when it comes to this figure. Speaking of the optional parts over here, what do you get in the box? First thing is that there are two objects included over here. There is this pin, which was taped to this, I don't know man, They include this pin, which I really appreciate, but it was stuck on this instruction sheet, and then I end up tearing it by mistake. Not like I'll be keeping this one. This instruction sheet is nothing much going on. Just that is really a terrible way of including a free gift in the box, like pack it properly, Maybe this is something the seller Bilibili included and wasn't part of the plan from BearPanda. I'm just guessing over here. And then there's this badge over here, which I'm not quite sure what this thing is at all, other than looking like a very fancy name card for a company, BearPanda. Yeah. Moving on to the sculpting of this figure, I would say this figure is pretty much identical to everything that was shown to us in the official product pictures by BearPanda during the pre-order periods. So the sculpt is like an easy 9 out of 10, and the only reason why I am not giving her a higher score is because this is a rather plain figure. Basically, this is just an anime figure in a black bunny suit, and that is all to it. No intricate details on the figure, right? But I mean, the suit, the black bunny suit, is very glossy, very shiny, and quite pleasing to look at. Speaking of the face of the figure, also pretty much identical as what was being promised by the official artwork, right? And you have 2 options over here, more like 3 options when it comes to displaying the figure. My personal favorite way of displaying this figure is the one you're looking on screen right now, this faceplate without the face mask on, where she is sticking her tongue out. She looks really dry, hungry for your sausage, your wiener, if you know what I mean. Yeah, I find it really attractive. So this is what I will be going with when displaying this figure. And her eyes over here, this is another example where I suspect that BearPanda and Animaster are the same company, is because yeah, the eyes right here, where you're getting this transparent material and you get this optical illusion where her eyes are following you whenever you look at her from any different angles. The effect is not as strong, not as pronounced as the Animaster 1x6 scale figures, and I think I prefer it this way because the Animaster figures, like the transparent parts they are acting like some sort of a magnifying glass, and I'm not sure if I liked that. And for this figure, the transparent part in front of the iris of the eye, it does not look like a magnifying glass in comparison. So I actually like how this is being toned down a bit compared to the 1x6 scale figures I reviewed earlier. And then moving on to the second faceplate, yeah, this one right here, she is still pretty with this faceplate. But at the same time, I mean, look at all those lines underneath her eye, yeah. Are those eye bags of some kind? Like, she looks really sleep deprived over here, and I'm not sure if I want to display her with this sleep deprived face expression. It looks unique though, like there are not many figures out there with this kind of face expression. And for this faceplate, it is a lot easier to put a face mask on. You actually get a pair of face masks, 2 of them, very generous of BearPanda, and all you needed to do is to hook the face mask around her ear and yeah, slap back the front hairpiece on and it will be secured in place. Very simple. Speaking of the extra faceplate, I would say if you like this figure so far after seeing this review up to this point, maybe buy 2 units of the very same figure and then you have 2 different displays, different face expressions. That is also an option if you choose to do so. Yeah. Overall, I'm displaying her with her tongue sticking out because she looks really horny. Yeah. Moving on to the paintwork of the figure, this is where the corner sculpting are beginning to appear a bit more obvious. Let me explain. But firstly, let me make it clear there are virtually 0 flaws on the paintwork on this figure, at least in my copy. And that is why the quality control, at least on the main figure itself, is quite good. Very good. I couldn't find any scratches or paint transfer or paint bleeding or any irregular surface. Overall, the figure feels really smooth to the touch. But at the same time, I'm not really sure if there is a protective coating being applied. I feel like there is. Yeah, there is a matte coating on the surface of the hair over here. But on the skin surface, this is where whenever I touch it and, try to feel the surface of the figure, I think this material over here for the skin region is sort of color injected. It is not painted other than some areas like the armpit and her eyes underneath her face over here. Yeah, you can see some shading, pink color shading over there for the skin region, but it feels like most of the figure, the skin area, they are unpainted. They are just color injected PVC. This is the material straight out from the machine. The mold injection machine. That is what it feels like to me. So most of this figure does not require any painting at all. The same can be said for the bunny suit, the black bunny suit. It feels like color injected material and then they just do a gloss coating on it. So that is where they managed to cut cost in a very smart way. I'm not complaining as long the result looks good. The stocking of the figure, yeah, of course we are going to get real fabric stocking over here. And this is virtually almost identical as any other 3-in 1x4 scale bunny figure. Yeah. And then moving on to the shading department, right? Are there any shading on the paintwork? Well, as far as I can tell, only her hair, which is quite obvious actually. Along the edges of her hair strands, both in front and behind, you can see this color gradient transition from dark brown to medium brown and almost lighter brown. So that is very nicely done, and it is exactly this part, the way they gradient the hair strands reminds me of Animaster's figure. So I had to suspect that both companies are related in a way. Speaking of the worst part, the absolute worst part of this figure, yeah, the base, that's right. So this is where they cut corners the most, and it feels like they have gone overboard with the corner cutting over here. I would have preferred to pay 10,000 yen instead of 9,000 yen for the figure if they could give us a higher quality base. Like, this is the shittiest base I've seen in years of collecting figures. I mean, look at how wobbly and shaky this figure is, because the figure is so heavy. And this black plastic base over here is made of very flimsy, very thin plastic. I wish that the base was bulkier, thicker in material and heavier overall to support the weight of this figure. In fact, it feels like because the figure is way too heavy, the base is actually becoming slightly distorted. It is pressing down on the center of the base because the center is hollow, as you can see underneath over here. Except for these 3 metal packs over here, the entire base is hollow. So the figure is so heavy, it is pressing down, and as a result, the circumference of the base is becoming ever so slightly distorted. So you get this wobble over here. That is what it feels like to me. I actually tried to remove the figure from the base, but maybe I was a bit too rough, I'm not too sure. I heard a slight crack sound and it made me sweat. And then yeah, there is actually a very small crack, a very small one, in one of the metal foot pegs, like, you know, the plastic surrounding the metal foot peg. The metal peg alone is not the problem. The problem is the plastic hole surrounding it. The material is also really thin. Yeah. So I tried to remove the figure from the base for the sake of this review. I wanted to show you a video of it. But for everyone else buying this figure, please don't even attempt to remove the figure from the base. Please don't. You might accidentally break something. Yeah. For me, I think as long I don't remove the figure from the base again, it shouldn't be an issue. But I really wish that we got a higher quality support material for her feet and also the base over here. I would pay another 1,000 yen for it. Yeah. And this is where it feels BearPanda has taken corner cuttings to an extreme, like way too much. It shouldn't be this bad. Yeah. Anyways, this is BearPanda's very first 1x4 scale figure. We still don't know what the long term is like. Like, will this figure start leaning after 6 months, after a year? We have no idea at all, because this is a heavy figure made with a lot of PVC material. I doubt there is any ABS over here. It would be interesting to see how this figure stands the test of time. So in case something really bad happens in the future, I will make a separate video and talk about it. But if I don't make a second video about this figure, then assume that nothing is wrong with the figure. Yeah. So until then, if you like what you're seeing with this figure, I would say go ahead and purchase one. I don't think you will regret it. For those of you who collect 1x4 scale figures, I would say this is a no-brainer purchase. Get it despite her flaws. And yeah, that is all for today's figure review. If you found this helpful in any way, please give this video a like or thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for anime figure content every week. Until then, I'll see you guys again very soon. Goodbye.